The rule is this: you should outsource anything that can be done for less than half your hourly rate. Now you're probably looking at me going, Corey, I don't get paid by the hour, so I don't know what you're talking about, right? Well, you can pretty easily figure this out. Take the money that you put in your pocket last year, how many hours you worked, and little division, you got an hourly rate, right? It's gonna be different for each person in this room. The easiest way to increase your hourly rate is to outsource everything that can be done for less than half your hourly rate, okay? I mentioned earlier that I do a lot of different things. I run 2 different side businesses in addition to my coaching business, investor, boards, Aviara. I have 1 part-time employee. That's all I've ever had to run all of that stuff. The reason I'm able to do that is because I also have an entire team of people that are outsourced. And so what I want to do is kind of share with you why I really prefer outsource over W-2 and some of the big advantages that you'll start to see. The first one is it's infinitely elastic and scalable. So usually when you hire somebody that's W-2, you pay them for 40 hours a week. If you have 20 hours of work, you still pay them for 40. If you have 60 hours of work, you only get 40 done, right? It's really kind of fixed. When you start to outsource work, if you need 20 hours, you pay them for 20. If you need 60, you either bring on more people or you just increase their hours, and it's infinitely elastic and scalable. It's one of the hugest benefits to outsource work. Number 2 is you can get a master of all trades. You don't need a jack of any. So when we try to hire an assistant and they need to do 6 different things for us, we're looking for somebody who's competent in 6 different things, but they're not really an expert in anything. How I hire is I find 6 different people that are masters of everything, and every person is managing a discipline that they have perfected over time. So I have a master of all of my resources. The third is going to be diversification. When we're hiring W-2, we're looking for somebody who is currently unemployed, has the skill set that we need, lives in Orange County and wants to commute to an office within the hours and parameters that we need. That's a pretty limited candidate pool. When we start to open this up to globally people that we can start to work with, it starts to not only give us so much more opportunity to find these experts, but we start to get advantages from different cultures, people who see things different ways and can provide benefit and value in ways that we can't get when we just kind of hire from our own little bubble. The fourth one is going to be coverage. You can get coverage nights, weekends. They don't take holidays. If they do need to go on vacation, you just simply bring in whoever's on the bench next to fill in that time. I have 0 lapses. I have 24/7, 365 coverage for everything that I need because of the outsourced team that I've built. The fifth one is going to be that you would enthusiastically rehire every single one of them. If you wouldn't, you just let them go and find a new one. It's really, really simple, right? Again, we've got this diversification, this global pool of candidates that there are hundreds of people that can do just about anything that we need to do. And so it becomes really easy to start to enthusiastically build a team that you would absolutely love and rehire. And the last one, you've probably been waiting for this, is the cost savings, right? We all have heard about this, that we can hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines at $4 an hour, and to them that's like $40 an hour. So we're getting like MBA level people doing our virtual assistant work at $4 an hour. We also have no benefits. Again, we can infinitely scale. We're only paying for the hours that they're using. The cost benefit is part of this, but it's really only one of the many, many benefits that I've seen. So where I go to really hire outsource work, there's 2 places that I traditionally go. There's also a lot of kind of like, if you just need marketing, there's specific marketing marketplaces. If you just need web development, there's specific web development. Just need copyright, there's specific platforms or marketplaces for that. But the kind of 2 generals are Fiverr and Upwork. So Fiverr is great for tasks. If there's like lower skilled required, I need like voiceover work, maybe touch up a Photoshop thing, maybe design me a logo, all these types of things. I can just go to Fiverr, super easy to hire, find the people that you want, look at their past work, and you can really have them starting on a project and generally delivering something to you within 24 to 48 hours. Upwork I use for a little bit higher skilled jobs or more ongoing work. So like a virtual assistant, I would go to Upwork, not Fiverr. Or a video editor that I'm gonna use again and again, I would go to Upwork, not Fiverr. So if it's higher skill required or ongoing, I'm gonna go to Upwork. Quick show of hands, how many people have hired somebody on Fiverr at least once? Cool, Fiverr's probably a lot. Upwork? Probably a lot fewer. Cool, how many have hired at least 5 jobs on either of these platforms? Cool. So this is my Upwork profile, and this is one of them. I have a couple because I've got different businesses, just to kind of let you know that I'm not practicing. I've posted 163 jobs. I've had 274 hires. I've hired more than 21,000 hours and spent more than $200,000 on one profile in Upwork. So I'm not just kind of preaching this, I practice this. This is literally my life, is working with outsourced work, and it's really, really cool, all the benefits that I get from this. So one of the things when I share this with people is there's a lot of kind of misconceptions, common misconceptions. These are some of the ones that I hear. The hiring process is really tough. I just don't know how to hire. They don't even speak English, right? That's kind of the assumption. I don't have time to train them. I don't know if they're actually working, if they're not in my office in front of me. I don't want to give my passwords to someone in India. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is that are your misconceptions. I want to unravel each one of these. But I first want to give you one of my favorite quotes, which is this, that lazy or incompetent people often complicate things to justify their inaction. And so I really think that we throw all these things out because we just want to justify the fact that we don't want to have to learn a new skill or we don't want to have to hire somebody. And so we kind of complicate all these things. So let me give you the real answers to all these. Hiring process is too tough. I almost always have someone starting within 24 hours, literally starting on my project. So it takes me about 3 hours for any job between creating the job description, going through resumes or potential candidates, hiring them, giving them instructions that they need to start, and then they're on their way, literally working for me within 24 hours. It's absolutely incredible. Now think of a W-2. What does that process look like? It's 24 hours before you even get the first resume. It's weeks of looking through those. It's interviews. I'm telling you, the hiring process is so darn simple. And remember, you're getting masters of all trades. All the other benefits come along with this. I don't know if they speak English. They literally test into literacy and language certification, which is really, really cool. So I can actually figure out the level of English that I need, and I'm only paying for that. So I can hire domestically. You can do that. You can also hire internationally or globally. When you hire globally, there's a lot of people who speak much better English than me because they've been formally trained more recently than me. I couldn't tell, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader really starts to ring true with a lot of grammar and things like that, right? Like I just kind of forget. And so they've been formally trained and they test into these literacy programs. And so the cool thing is if I just need someone to edit a photo for me, I don't care if they speak English as long as they understand my instructions. And so I'm only paying for somebody that's not even English educated to do a project. But when I need somebody who's going to sit on customer support via email or phone, maybe I need them to sound like they don't have an accent, you can hire for all of that stuff. You get the exact level that you need. And remember, global pool of candidates, it's really cool. I don't have time to train them. I would ask you, but you have time to do the job yourself? Like, if time is the issue here, this is what literally allows you to delegate and scale and gain more time. I usually see that the rule of kind of 5x, that it generally takes somebody about 5 times longer to train somebody to do a job than to do it themselves. And so if we figure that it's something that we're gonna do more than 5 times again in our life, it's probably worth the investment to say, let's just train somebody right now. Let's spend, instead of 1 hour that it takes me to do it, let's spend 5 hours to train someone, and I can get that off of my plate forever, okay? So if you don't have time to train them, you probably don't have time to do the job yourself. I would encourage you to carve that out. Oh man. Okay, I don't know if they're actually working. You can actually review their work diary. So this program, like Upwork, and a lot of these have this, where I can literally see their screen, what they're working on at any given time. So this takes a screenshot 6 times every hour that they're clocked in working for me. It's random. It's not every 10 minutes. So they can't set a timer and like come back every 9 minutes. It's entirely random. And I can see exactly what they're working on, how they're working on it. This becomes one of the best ways to actually like train and then audit. You can see how they're going through the processes. Sometimes I figure out that they're doing these really cool ninja tricks that I didn't even know about or think about, and they're getting a lot more done. And I start to learn from looking at their work diaries. But if you're worried that they're not actually working, and you're paying them for hours they're not working, worry no longer. This will fix that problem. Let's see, the next one is, I don't want to give my passwords to someone in India. Platforms like Upwork provide an extra layer of protection, I would argue. You can also use services like LastPass, which everybody should be on anyways, some sort of a password manager. It's just a good business practice. This can hopefully force you to do that. But I would say this, I've hired, how many people did it say, 250 or something for 160 jobs? I don't know, an insane amount of people. Never once have I had anybody steal from me or breach a password or email one of my clients. I've hired about a dozen or 15 employees. One of them stole tens of thousands of dollars from me, and one of them did things that were very questionable that ended up leading to them leaving. So 15, I had 2 really, really detrimental employees that were here in front of me. Hundreds, and I've never had a bad experience. So to think that because they're in front of you and under your nose means that you have beautiful, saintly people and that people working working for you somewhere else aren't, I would say they're more appreciative of the job when they're working for you from afar, if you're a good boss to them, than they would be here. So you shouldn't have to worry about that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even gonna try and figure that out. So the biggest part of this is really hiring. And this is the thing that I think most people would say, well, if I just could, I believe in outsource, you've convinced me there, but I don't know how to hire. So here's some really quick hiring tips that will kind of help you get the hang of it. The first one is spend as much time on the job title as the job description. So I used to find early on I'd spend 15 or 20 minutes on the job description, and then I just type the title in, like virtual assistant. And I wasn't finding the candidates that I needed to find. Or sometimes I'd be like, virtual assistant that I need to plug in listings to the Matrix MLS system for me. And like, it's just too much, right? Finding the right title is gonna get the right number of candidates to your job. So something like virtual assistant for a real estate agent may be a much better title than either of those other two. It'll get you the right number of candidates. It gives them enough information that you're getting the right people, but not too much. Always add additional questions. So through that process of like posting your description and all that, you can also add questions. I do this for two reasons. Number one, helps me collect more information. But number two, it creates more friction in the process. So I don't get those people who are just machine gunning out resumes and trying to get a job for anybody. It shows that there's a higher level of interest. And so rather than going through 60 or 70, I may only have to go through 15 or 20 or 30 different resumes or profiles to find the right person for myself. Third one, hire more than one person for almost every job. So if it's a job that I need to have done more than once, or if it's a job that is really cheap to have done, I always hire at least 3 and usually 5 people for the job. I'll give you an example. I just recently needed a new video editor for a new style of videos that I'm gonna be doing a lot. And so I put out the description, I got a bunch of people, and I quickly hired 5 people. I really didn't even think that much about it. If I liked some of their video work, I just hired them. Sent out a contract and I hired 5 within, I don't know, an hour and a half. I created one set of instructions that I loaded to a Google Drive, which you'll see in number 4, and I just blasted that same set of instructions out to everybody, that same link to the Google Drive to all 5. 2 of them never accepted the contract, 3 of them did. Of the 3 that came back, 1 video was awful, and 2 of them were really good. And so I took the best one of those 2, I told them, hey, I'd love to hire you, can I provide a little bit more feedback for future videos? I just did a screen record of watching the 2 videos of the 2 best editors, pointed out all the things that I liked and didn't like, sent it to him, and he's been the most fantastic editor ever since. That was literally the entire process of me finding a video editor that could have taken me months to find here. And now every time I have a video, I just send him a new link. He knows exactly what to do. 48 hours, the video comes back to me, and it's never been easier. I'm telling you, outsource work is really, really cool, and hiring more than one person will expedite that process. And again, it's so cheap. I think I paid anywhere between 50 and 120 bucks for each one of those 3 people. So with about 300 bucks, I got to find my editor for life who does stuff for 50 bucks every single video. Create a Google Drive folder and then manage your reputation. I mentioned, you saw that I've had 21,000 hours of work. I have a 4.98 star rating. I treat everybody really well. Even the video editor that it didn't go well, or the 2 people that didn't accept the contract, I still give them positive reviews. I manage my reputation on those platforms because when people see that I have 21,000 hours and almost 5-star review, they want to work with me. I get a lot better candidates and applications because of that. All right, so that is the rule. Outsource anything that can be done for less than half your hourly rate.